Why do creepy neighbor stories have such a profound impact on us? Neighbors are people we often take for granted in our daily lives. We exchange pleasantries, wave hello, or have minimal interaction with them. However, most of us assume our neighbors are just ordinary people, living ordinary lives like everyone else. But, as the stories we're about to share show, sometimes the people living closest to you are. There's something uniquely terrifying about feeling unsafe in your own home, the place that should be your sanctuary. When your neighbors act strangely, stalk you, or even threaten you, a sense of inescapable dread takes over. These stories make us feel vulnerable and frightened because they invade our personal space and challenge our fundamental bell. Story 1. The Watching Neighbor, a family's harrowing encounter. They had lived in their home for 4 years, building memories and growing as a family. Everything was normal until Steve, a middle-aged man, moved into the house next door. At first, Steve just seemed a little odd, not very sociable, secretive, and had a strange habit of staring out of his window into the Johnsons' backyard. However, things escalated when the father noticed Steve often standing by his window, watching the kids as they played outside. While he tried to convince himself that Steve was just curious or bored, the fact that Steve was secretly observing his children made him increasingly uneasy. One evening, things became clearer when the kids ran inside, scared, saying they saw a flash from Steve's window, like the flash of a camera. The possibility that Steve was taking secret pictures of the kids left the parents in shock. That night, the lights from Steve's backyard flashed more frequently, causing the Johnson family to become even more alarmed and terrified. When confronted, Steve vaguely and evasively denied all accusations. His behavior became more suspicious, and eventually the Johnsons decided to move away to protect their children's safety. The scary part of this story is how seemingly harmless behavior slowly escalated into a nightmare that haunted the family, forcing them to leave their home. Takeaway: this story makes us realize that our greatest fears often start with the smallest details. Sometimes you must face the reality that the safety of your family can be threatened right where you thought was the most peaceful place. Story 2. Terrifying late-night sounds, a student's dangerous encounter. Moving away to college is an exciting time for many people. It's a chance to experience independence, meet new people, and learn new things. But for a young woman named Jess, her first experience of living away from home quickly turned into a nightmare. Jess had just moved into an apartment with 2 roommates. Everything seemed fine until one night, Jess began hearing strange noises coming from the apartment next door, an apartment that had always been quiet. At first, she thought it was just normal maintenance work, but as the noises grew louder and more frequent at odd hours, she couldn't ignore them anymore. She decided to confront the situation. But instead of encountering maintenance workers, she saw 4 middle-aged men, sweating and smiling creepily. They stopped everything when they saw her, and the tension in the air was thick. Jess quickly realized that this wasn't some innocent coincidence, but something far more threatening. With her heart racing, she hurried back to her apartment, locked the door, and sat down, fear gripping her. She didn't know what those men were up to, but she was certain they had no good reason to be there. This story reminds us that sometimes intuition is the best defense. In tense situations, our instincts can help us recognize danger and avoid bad outcomes. Jess's decision to confront the threat was brave, but more importantly, she listened to her instincts to protect herself. The next story is a testament to the importance of trusting your instincts. Emma, a friend of mine, had a chilling experience while driving home late one night after work. She noticed a car following her through multiple turns. Each time she sped up, the car sped up too. Emma quickly realized something wasn't right. Instead of driving straight home where she might be in danger, Emma chose to drive to a public gas station. When she stopped, the car behind her sped off into the night. Emma still doesn't know what the driver of that car intended, but by trusting her instincts, she avoided what could have been a dangerous situation. Story 3. The Mysterious Neighbors. A couple's strange encounter. Sarah and her boyfriend had just moved into a quiet suburban home in New York, excited to start a new chapter in their lives. However, things quickly turned eerie when they noticed two figures constantly staring into their backyard through the windows of the house across the street. There was never a moment when they weren't being watched. At first, Sarah tried to convince herself that it was just normal neighborly curiosity. But after being met with those same eyes multiple times, they decided to knock on the door and speak directly with the neighbors. A young man opened the door, claiming that no one else lived in the house. The unsettling feeling intensified, and the couple couldn't comprehend the truth behind the strange figures. Things got even creepier when they heard bizarre noises coming from the house next door late at night. Knocking sounds and weird screams kept them on edge. The greatest fear in this story isn't just being watched, but the inability to understand who's watching and why. The silent, lurking figures behind the window blur the lines between what's real and imagined, between safety and danger. Creepy neighbor stories tap into our deepest fears, the fear of being watched and the fear of losing safety in our personal space. These unsettling feelings don't just come from the specific situations. They also erode our trust in the peaceful lives we try to build. And the final question remains. Do you really know who's living next door? Thank you for watching today's story. I hope these chilling experiences have made you reflect on fears and trust in life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on more engaging stories and interesting content in the future. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.